It's absolutely apptacular. The Subject Cinema Android app. Everything you need to be a rabid Subject Cinema fan. Subject Cinema, 3-Minute Weekend, Tuesday Digidex, and Front Row 5 and 10. All right at your fingertips and available instantly. Plus, email and voicemail links, Facebook and Twitter hookups, Patreon support specials, and more is coming real soon. Don't just listen, app it. The all-in-one Subject Cinema podcast app. Android version available now at Google Play or on PNR Network websites. Amazon and iPhone apps coming soon. Don't delay. Download today.
Blueberry. This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
Hey, guys and gals, Subject Cinema fans, it's TC here. A little bit of an explanation about what's going on with this show and what's been happening. We had just finished recording our first show of 2019 on January 6th. And it's our annual preview show. And when we finished recording, everything saved, and then about a minute and a half later, the entire computer blinked out. I mean, I was freaking out. We had all kinds of things happening. Thankfully, I'd already scheduled a week off work to do things, and didn't get much done because I spent the whole week trying to figure out what to do with our computer issues. Our old PC just died. Thankfully, it was the power supply that died and not the drive. The show was saved before it died, so that's good. But over the last 2 weeks, why we've been so slow in getting back up is because I've had to rebuild everything on the new system. Still getting used to the new system. I decided to go for a more powerful gaming machine for editing purposes, and it's doing a lot of things I don't understand, and a lot of things aren't communicating right, so we're not completely up to speed right yet, but we're getting there. All of our shows should be back this week. Some of our columns should be back this week, and you're finally getting to hear the Subject Cinema that should have been aired 2 weeks ago. Now we'll be back with our full show, our new theme, and everything else next week with our annual Film Festivals show. Next Sunday would be day and date, January 27th, I believe. But for the last couple of weeks and for this week, what you're actually hearing, as you'll hear on the show, is the show originally intended to go up on January 6th. It is our annual preview show of all the stuff we're looking forward to, stuff we're talking about, that'll be hitting in 2019. Our new sound, our new look, and everything else will be coming next week or the week after as we get back up to speed. So you got one more week of the old theme song and everything else, and I'm sorry for that. But in any case, it's still a great show, and we hope you enjoy it, and that's why everything's kind of off-kilter. So let's flash back 2 weeks to January 6th and this episode of Subject Cinema. Thank you all for your patience, and we'll be back up to speed quickly, I hope, this week as we get our shows going again. So thanks anyway, and hope you enjoy the show. Bye-bye.
On air, online, on now. From the hub of the universe, Boston, Massachusetts, USA, this is Subject Cinema, with your hosts, TC Kirkham and Kim Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome TC and Kim.
Hon?
Yeah.
Why is there still glitter all over the floor? New Year's Day was a week ago.
Because I'm still vacuuming up the glitter in the living room. And I'm trying to figure out how we got glitter on the ceiling.
Must have been Spider Pig. Who knows?
Give me a minute. Oh, we're back. We're doing the show. Oh, gosh. Oh, we're doing the show. Oh, crap. Okay, here we are. Hi.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to Subject Cinema SC19. I'm TC Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
It's episode number 622, January 6, 2019. Everything's going to be great as we take a look this week at 2019.
Yes.
What's coming up all this year. We're our annual preview show.
Mm-hmm.
We, of course, won't cover everything.
No.
Over 1,000 films came out in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Small, independent. I mean, there were like maybe 300 big blockbusters, but there were a lot of indies and Netflix figures in there and Hulu and all those.
Yeah, definitely Netflix figures in, especially toward the end of the year with the release of Bird Box, which has been completely taking people by storm.
Yeah, plus Roma, which is up for, countless awards, even though technically it's a TV movie. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I have a real problem with this, and we've talked about this, and
also,
I agree with Spielberg. If it's on Netflix, it's not a feature film.
Also, just a real quick PSA here from your friends at Subject Cinema.
Oh, dear.
If you are considering doing the Bird Box challenge,
don't.
Please.
Honestly. Are you going to watch that? No. I'm not interested in it.
No, I already
have a woman at work that loved it and is freaking out by it, so it's like, okay.
Well, my thing is, if you watched a movie where everybody ended the movie by jumping off the Brooklyn Bridge, would you do it?
No. No, what?
Oh, my frog.
What?
I have officially turned into my mom!
That doesn't work when nobody can see your expression but me. Anyway, we're going to go over some...
No, I'm young, I'm hip, I'm still fresh, or whatever it is the kids say anymore.
Fresh?
Oh, crap.
You're not past your sell-by date right now. If that's what you're worried about, you're fine. You got plenty of time. That was a compliment,
well, I suppose.
Honestly. Anyway, before she started getting lunatic over here,
sorry.
The 2019 movies, and we're just going to go through some of the big ones, some of the small ones, just running off the ones that are interesting us. Now, we're not going to talk about the films that are playing at the festivals right now. This is festival month. Our first Festival Central update, of course, is coming at the end of this month with the 13th annual Film Festival show. I think it's 13th. That might be 14th. Yeah. We'll cover Sundance, Slamdance, Palm Springs, Santa Barbara on the last Sunday in the month, which is, let me look real quick, as we speak, January 27th. Mm-hmm. We will have all of those. And Festival Central is our new, I haven't talked much about it. We'll talk about it a little bit later on during Unplugged Time.
Yep.
So it's something we're doing this year that we're really ramping up and going to do some stuff. Let's start with the superhero movies.
Yes.
The superhero movies dominated the box office in 2018, right down to the end of the year. Aquaman #1 for the third weekend in a row this weekend. I'm sure Vince Chase is very disappointed by this version.
Entourage joke.
Yeah, they get it. They're hip. They're cool. They're with it, But
thank you for now sounding older than I did before.
That was the whole point. Anyway, and I am older than you, so it does make sense.
Yes, you are. Bless your heart.
Bitch. Anyway,
Jerk.
superhero movies.
Yes.
There's 5 of them, or 4 of them, all before July. So we obviously know that, here's what we know from the superhero movies. Number 1, since there's a Spider-Man movie scheduled for July, we know he's going to get better. Yes. After his, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark, in Avengers Infinity War. It drives her nuts.
It drives me nuts because you're so dismissive.
And so good at it.
It's one of the most sad scenes in the whole movie. It broke my heart in half, and you, being an insensitive jerk...
I'm not particularly a fan of the way that they're playing the character right now, which you know.
I know.
I like Tom Holland. I'm just not a big... I don't know, geeky Spider-Man type. Anyway, I've never been that fond of the character, but it's like, now, of course, we'll get to Infinity War in a minute. Marvel's current universe will kick off in March with Captain America. Okay, no, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, sorry. Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. It's already gotten good notices from people who've seen part of it. It's, of course, we saw the little logo for her at the very tail end of Infinity War.
Yes. When everything had gone terribly wrong, that she was being summoned by Nick Fury. Now, for those of us... Now, the thing about the character of Captain Marvel, she's gone through a lot of changes in the comic. And the problem is that you have a whole generation out there, i.e. people you and my age, who, when they hear Captain Marvel, they're not thinking her. They're thinking the big guy that Billy Batson turns into when he says Shazam.
Well, he was the first Captain Marvel.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, I think for some
Can't
people...
help it that Marvel Comics stole his name.
I think some people might be a little bit like, wait, what? That's Captain Marvel? When did that happen? You know, I mean, I might be selling some people short, and if I am, I do apologize. From what I've seen, though, they've completely revamped the character. I mean, when she started, she was Miss Marvel.
No, she was Ms.
Ms.
Young, hip, 70s, she was Ms.
Marvel.
MS Marvel.
Yeah. And at some point, she became Captain Marvel, and they completely... Her origin story went completely in another direction. There was a whole thing that had happened in the comics where her powers and memories and everything had been stolen by the mutant Rogue, and that was what set Rogue on her path to being a hero, because she had been part of the Brotherhood of Mutants. But that's, you know, neither here nor there when it comes to the big
can't be
screen.
touched on yet because of the X-Men issue, which is just starting to get resolved.
Yeah. It's really bad when you need a flow chart to explain, you know, this happened here and this happened here and this person was this way and now they're this way, and it's like, you thought VCR instructions were hard.
When I was growing up, Captain Marvel's version was technically Captain Marvel. There was a hyphen.
Yeah. And that was, and he was a dude.
Yeah.
And he was an alien.
Yeah.
He was a member of the Kree race.
Yeah.
Which apparently now this Captain Marvel is? Or she was trained by the Kree?
And Marvel is apparently in this film under a different name. I don't know.
Didn't he die?
Jude Law is playing the character. I'm not sure.
I think Marvel died in the comic universe.
I don't know.
Ow.
I don't follow Marvel. I'm a DC. She's a Marvel. I'm a DC. So we have a...
I'm a little bit of everything.
I'm a little bit of everything too, but I follow DC more than I follow Marvel.
I don't put labels.
But I love the Marvel movies. Don't get me wrong.
Labels are for soup cans.
So anyway, the Brie Larson version gets underway in March.
Mm-hmm.
Less than 3 weeks later, or exactly 3 weeks later, the other Captain Marvel makes his debut, but he makes it under his name Shazam.
Yeah. At some point or another, see, this is where stuff gets confusing. If you're not a comic book person, sit down and have a cup of coffee, because it's going to take us a minute.
Captain Marvel started with Fawcett Comics in the 1940s, and he was deemed to be too close to Superman, so DC sued them and eventually won that lawsuit in the 70s, and then brought him over to the 70s version of DC Universe.
Yeah.
But then they lost the rights to the name in a suit with Marvel over Captain Marvel.
Right. Okay.
So now they call him Shazam.
So now he's Shazam.
Which is stupid, because every time he says his name, he changes. What the hell?
Well,
I'm Shazam! No, I'm Billy. Oh, whoops.
Well, how often does one say one's name? I mean, if you're not Batman. But anyway, I think that, first of all, and this is just on a personal level, just my own opinion for what it's worth and everything like that, the lawsuit between Marvel and DC about the character is stupid, and Marvel shouldn't have won that. I don't think the character of Captain Marvel is that much like Superman.
No.
I think that lawsuit...
Well, that was the lawsuit between DC and Fawcett.
DC and Fawcett, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, I think that lawsuit was crap, and I don't think DC should have won it. Because for the biggest, obvious, huge, enormous red elephant in the middle of the room, Superman is an alien. Billy Batson gets his power to change into Captain Marvel from magic.
Yeah, but they're basically...
That's way over on
But they were
opposite
saying
ends
that
of the
the
room.
hero characters were basically the same. Big muscles. The only thing different was the costume. That's basically what they said. Anyway, so Shazam is coming out.
Yes.
Zachary Levi of Chuck is starring in...
He is
as
playing
Captain Marvel,
the adult
version.
Shazam.
And they're playing it for laughs. Now, I'm not really happy with this. I don't want... I'm sorry. I'm one of the few people out there that despises Thor Ragnarok. I thought it was a freaking joke from beginning to end. It was like watching a third grade superhero play. Because I don't want comedy mixed up in my superhero stuff. Unless it's supposed to be like the Inferior Five or Captain Carrot would be. There's a difference there. With Shazam, it's always been lighthearted. But it isn't that lighthearted. And talking from the 70s version and the 40s version, which they reprinted endlessly in the 70s.
The 70s version sucked.
No, I'm not talking the TV show. I'm talking the comic book.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I have that on DVD, by the way.
Yeah, the 70s live-action version sucked.
It was not great. It was
sucked.
fun, but it wasn't great. If you watch it now, they're freaking hilarious.
You watched it back then, it was terrible. It's like, sorry.
Well, excuse me, little Miss Snooty Saturday Morning Critic.
Well,
I'm all of 9 years old, and I think this is way lowbrow for me.
Well, no, I'm sorry. It's the fact that it's a superhero show with no supervillains that irritates me.
No, it was a moralistic show. It was from Filmation. What did you expect? Anyway, and Michael Gray was about 10 years too old to be playing Billy Batson. Anyway, I'm not sure where this is going. The one good part of this film is Mark Strong. Mark Strong, I love. I love him in everything. He's great casting as Dr. Savannah. We'll see what happens. I'm not holding my breath, though. I'm looking at another DC disaster in the making, in all honesty.
I have to be honest about Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to like it, and I do want to like it. I really want to like it. I don't have the problem that you... See, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a jerk, and I'm not trying to start a fight this early in the show, but there's no pleasing you when it comes to superhero movies. If there's...
I'm not Stacy.
Well, no.
Okay, thank you.
Hi,
Jeez,
Stacey.
talk about insulting me.
No, what I'm saying is if something's, dark or a little more gritty than you're used to from the comics, you don't like it.
No, that's not true.
Has
I
humor,
love the Batman
You don't
films.
like it.
I love the Batman films, except for the last one. I didn't like the last Nolan one. I didn't like that because I couldn't understand half of what Tom Hardy was saying. But I loved Dark Knight. I loved Michael Keaton's Batman in both films. So don't tell me I don't like dark stuff. I do. And I love Man of Steel, which is the darkest Superman film ever made. So I do like dark stuff. I didn't think that's very fair.
All right. Okay. It just seems to me like you tend to complain that something is too dark and too gritty, and then if there's humor, that's too much levity.
The Avengers, all the Marvel films are filled with little bits of humor. That's fine. That works great. Justice League was filled with little bits of humor, thanks to Ezra Miller. Fine. I just don't want the whole thing to be comedy. Ragnarok was filmed as a comedy, and I didn't like that.
See, the one
that
thing
irritated me.
The one thing that we both have to remember, though, is what is one of Kim's rules about movies?
I don't know. You've got so many of them.
Trailers always lie.
I don't know where that goes for this.
The trailers that we've seen for Shazam that have both of us thinking this may have more comedy in it than.
No, I know for a fact they have more comedy on it because it was called a comedy. It is called a comedy in the releases.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's comedy.
Well,
my big problem with this whole character, anyway, was the retcon they did in the Crisis of Infinite Earths thing, where now Billy stays 10 years old even when he's Shazam. Which is not the way the character was in the 40s.
Actually, in this movie, he's 14.
14, whatever. He stays his current age.
He has the mind of a boy.
Right. Which is not the way that they did it in the original comic book.
No.
And I liked it better that way. This, I don't know.
I
don't like the way they portray him in the Justice League cartoons either when I've seen him. Because it makes him look like a grown man acting like a 14-year-old, which is really kind of stupid.
I think it makes more sense myself. He's not changing into a different person.
It's magic, honey.
It is magic. Yeah, okay. No, you're right. It is magic, and as we used
Why would the old dude give him the ability to grow if he didn't give him the ability to think like an adult too? It doesn't make any sense that he didn't.
Because a younger person believes they can do anything.
Well, they can still have that, but they should still have adult sensibilities like they did in the original. Anyway, I'm not holding out much hope for Shazam. Spider-Man Far From Home comes out later in the summer. We won't really talk about that now. We'll get more of that in the summer stuff. And we don't really know what's going on there because as of right now, Peter Parker is space dust. Which brings us
so rude
to Avengers Endgame. This is going to be quite possibly, I'm going to go out on a limb right now here in front of the entire interwebs and all the cheeseburgers and cats and everything else and saying that I think Avengers Endgame will end up the biggest grossing film of all time by the end of the summer.
Okay, we'll have to wait. Right.
Because the anticipation is so huge, even more than the Star Wars film, that it's like, wow. So when we last left our intrepid Avengers heroes, most of the secondary
heroes... There weren't that many of them left.
Most of the secondary heroes and most of the Guardians of the Galaxy were kaput. And a couple of the A-list stars, Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, were kaput.
And Black Panther.
He's still a secondary because he hasn't moved into the first level yet. That's happening in this current group. Black Panther notwithstanding, it's and the fact that it was my favorite film last year, it's just like, I would consider him a secondary group right now because when I say the core group, I mean Cap, Thor, Hulk, Widow, Hawkeye, and who am I missing?
Hulk.
Iron Man.
And
they're all still around. So it's like, okay.
Okay, the thing is, we know from the one trailer that we've seen for Avengers Endgame, which, yes, did make me cry, that I really
It wasn't really a trailer. It was a teaser.
I really want 2019 to not be another year where Kim ends every movie awash in tears. Could we really try and not do that,
Yeah,
please?
Could we really try and not do that? I'm getting sick of doing laundry every time we go to the show. Anyway, go ahead.
We know that... we know that Tony makes it off the planet that he was stranded on at the end of Infinity War.
We do? He's still there in the narrative.
No, he's not. He's in a spaceship. He's running out of oxygen.
The ship is on the planet, honey.
I'm okay. Anyway, but we do know
they were on a planet. They were in that spaceship thing. The whole whole movie.
Okay. Anyway, we also know, we know some people survived that we weren't sure survived, specifically Clint Barton, a.k.a. Hawkeye, because we see a scene where he's obviously just fought somebody or a bunch of somebodies, and he turns around, he's looking at, we think it's Natasha. And I'm sorry, I'm going out on a limb right now, before we even see the movie, just my own guess. Mm-hmm. The look on Hawkeye's face and the look in his eyes, that's the look of a man that has lost absolutely everything.
That's not the look of Hawkeye, it's the look of Ronan. The character that he did.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think any of his family survived the Snapture. And
the Snapture?
That's one thing people are calling it.
The Snapture.
The Snapture. Some people call it just the Snap.
Ooh.
Or the Snapture, the Snapocalypse. I've heard like a bunch of different things of it.
Lord,
and we also know that Scott Lang, a.k.a. Ant-Man, survived because we see him in the trailer as well.
Well, we knew he survived because we know that the other three did not because of the end after credit sequence in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, which almost had me stress vomit all over the floor of the theater.
Although we don't know if any of them survived.
What do you mean?
We didn't really see. All we saw was a bunch of Snapture dust floating around. That doesn't mean one of them didn't survive. It just means we couldn't see them.
I suppose that comes off as a big fat cop-out, but
I'm just saying it's a theory.
It's a theory.
There's theories out there that Hope survived. So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay. There is. It also has been confirmed that before his unfortunate passing, and we miss him still, we'll miss him always. Stan Lee did film his cameo for this movie.
We'll see Stan in that and in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And in Spider-Man. He's
Yes.
already done all 3 cameos. So
So at least I'm going to know I'm going to be crying 3 times at the theater at least.
he wouldn't want you to cry. He'll want you to laugh.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, to be perfectly honest, though, I'm like, I don't know how they're going to fix this. And I don't want to know.
Reverse the film? Reverse the film?
That could literally happen, though. Because if somebody gets the time stone and hits
What was
reverse,
Doctor Strange's, what was he saying?
Well, he said
Remember, Strange is the all-knowing, all-seeing master of the Marvel Universe at this point.
Yes, as the Sorcerer Supreme and a serious hottie, because that really qualifies. I'm sorry. That he went through like all these scenarios, and he said there was only one where they could get out of it or something like that.
Right, which means he picked the one that they could get out of.
Yeah.
We don't know
it would have
how.
been nice if he told somebody else, just,
So, we have a casualty count that includes most of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Gamora died earlier on in the film.
Gamora got pushed off a cliff because Thanos
and only Rocket is left of the Guardians.
Yes.
And now, of the Avengers, just the core group is still there, plus...
Shuri, I think we know
Shuri
Shuri's
survived.
alive. Yeah, we know Shuri's alive.
And Danae Gurira's character, I've forgotten her name, survived, but T'Challa did not. And most of the secondary characters that Kim, had a meltdown over, like Bucky and Spider-Man and those guys, all passed on. So
I'm sorry, I have feelings. Excuse me for living in the moment.
Avengers Endgame is supposed to open in May. It'll probably get bumped up a couple weeks to late April, because it just makes sense. And
well, as of right now, at least according to Wikipedia, it has been bumped up.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia, the release date in the U.S. is April 26th of 2019.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. They did move it up, and then probably might even go back a week before that too.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the main superhero films of the year.
Yep.
There are, Wonder Woman was supposed to be out at the end of the year, but they bumped it to July 2020 to give them more time with the effects stuff, even though it's done shooting. And there's another anti-movie coming out in The Joker.
Yeah.
Which we neither one have been really enamored with, but we haven't really seen anything other than that really weird trailer they did, that teaser.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix as a new interpretation from a alternate DC Elseworlds universe of the Joker.
Whatever the hell that means.
It means DC's going to screw things up again. DC has had that tendency over the years. I hate to admit it. As much as I enjoy the DC universe, and I've liked every movie except Suicide Squad, there's, they do have a tendency to fall flat on their face with the general public and with the critics. The Joker seems to be keeping a fire under the critics, but I think that has more to do with Joaquin Phoenix's presence than it does, because he's a favorite among critics, other than the film itself. We'll see. It comes out in July. We'll see. I think July or August. It comes out late summer. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have to be honest.
It's an intriguing idea.
The teaser intrigued me. Now, I mean, I am not one of these people that has a problem with the whole multiverse idea. I don't have a problem with that at all. I actually think that it's a feasible thing in real life. I mean, I know
it's worked well for DC on the TV universe also.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people might think I'm a complete wackadoo because I feel that way,
but
I
think it's very possible that there are other universes and dimensions out there.
Yeah.
So,
but my whole thing is, so the idea that there's a different universe where a different person had that one bad day and became the Joker for whatever reason. Now, from the look of this Joker, and just from what we've seen, this doesn't seem to be the Joker with the permanent smile, the Jack Napier kind of Joker that we got way back in like the '89 Batman. And it is not the Heath Ledger Joker with the scars. This seems to be somebody that's just,
or the Cesar Romero Joker with the painted over mustache.
Yeah, but to be perfectly honest, and I know people are going to go, what? This might actually be
closer to
that,
I think.
simply because he's wearing makeup and that's it.
Yeah.
It's not a physical deformity. It's not it's not something because of scarification.
Right.
It's just makeup. And I shouldn't say just makeup because it's the Joker and that makes things scary as beep. But I have to be honest, and Joaquin Phoenix, when he throws himself into a role, he can be absolutely mesmerizing. I happened to catch Walk the Line a couple of months ago, and his portrayal of Johnny Cash, there's a couple of times when you really are like, wow, I never saw that performance by Johnny. Oh, no, wait, that wasn't Johnny, that was Joaquin. Oh, crap. It was like that kind of reality shifting plane of existence kind of thing that he really becomes the characters that he plays. So that could be really interesting, watching this person, whoever he is, become that monster.
But is it going to make any sense? Because, here we go with the argument, just real quick, of the DC Marvel. Marvel has been contiguous, linear, since Iron Man, the very first Iron Man. They're now in their 10th year of this, and they've followed this path all the way, and they've taken their time slowly building up. DC, lack of a better want of people over there who have no brain cells, want instant gratification, throw all these movies together, and just hope something sticks.
And hope kids buy the toys.
Yeah.
No.
So far, they haven't had much luck.
Not
except
really.
with Wonder Woman and Aquaman, they really haven't had much luck.
No. Although Marvel does have problems with that, but it's not the Marvel Studios.
No.
And that's going to come out this year as well, I think, when it comes to the release of X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that. We better do that in the next segment when Subject Cinema returns.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Real movies for real people. Subject Cinema.
All right, Kristen, I am so excited that you've decided to do a podcast with me, but what are we going to do a podcast about? There's so many other movie podcasts. We got to do something original.
Well, I'm a big fan of Disney movies. What about something like that?
That's just kid stuff. What do we want to do that for?
Did you know that The Avengers is a Disney movie? Or that Pulp Fiction is a Disney movie?
Pulp Fiction is not a Disney movie.
It's technically owned by Miramax, which is part of Disney.
We are still going to talk about the Disney animated movies, though, right?
I thought you said that was kid stuff.
Well, I've got 2 kids. I got to be a good dad and stuff.
So be sure to subscribe to the Walt Sent Me podcast, where we discuss the various subsidiaries of the Walt Disney Studios, including the animated movies.
It's available on iTunes, Podomatic, and wherever you find great podcasts. And I swear, it's not kid stuff.
Subject Cinema.
Hey guys, welcome to our first show of 2019, Subject Cinema. I'm Kim Brown.
I'm T.C. Kirkham, and we're talking new movies coming out in 2019. We're in the middle of a superhero movie discussion.
Yes, because we're nerds!
Right before we went to break, we brought up X-Men. There's a big thing going on right now this month. It's happened on the 1st. 20th Century Fox is now officially a part of the Walt Disney Company. Now, that brings in the company Marvel properties to Disney Marvel that they did not have access to before. That includes X-Men, Deadpool, Wolverine, and finally, maybe get done right, Fantastic Four.
Yep.
The only one that is still out there now on its own little thing is Spider-Man, which is connected to the Marvel Universe through a special deal they made with Sony. You were mentioning X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Yes.
Go ahead.
X-Men Dark Phoenix, which as of right now is supposed to come out on June 7th of this year.
Which has been bumped twice already. It was supposed to be out last year.
Okay. Now, I might not be the most knowledgeable person when it comes to the movie business, the actual business behind movies. But even May knows that when a movie gets bumped back and bumped back and bumped back, there's a problem. And
clarify that, not always.
See, this is what I mean about not knowing stuff.
70% of the time I'd say that's true, but there are ones that get bumped back for better slottage. strictly for better slottage. Although I don't think that's the case with X-Men.
Sometimes movies also get bumped back because something happens in the real world that they go, holy crap, we can't air this movie right now.
Like The Interview.
Like The Interview, or like what happened with a movie like Gangster Squad, where there was a scene where there was a shootout in a theater, and the movie was supposed to be released right around the time of the massacre in Aurora, and the people that were putting the movie out went, no, so they took the movie and cut that scene out because decency.
And then waited 4 months to release it, and it bombed, so,
But when it comes to Dark Phoenix, I have to be honest, and this is going to bother some people, probably you. I am not crazy about this iteration of the X-Men. There, I said it. I'm not sorry.
Well, what exactly aren't you crazy about? I admit, this has been a little bit of it. The X-Men have had the most oddball usage in films since they started 20 years ago.
Haphazard would be a good word.
Well, okay, fine. They did 3 movies that did diminishing box office. The first one was a huge hit, then X2. X3 was a bomb, which has already explored the Dark Phoenix thing. And then they did the Wolverine movie, Origins Wolverine, which was a bomb with the fans, although it was a financial hit. Then they rebooted 10 years into it with X-Men First Class, got the best reviews of the entire X-Men movie, and then they just started the cycle again. Days of Future Past was great, up to a point, but there were issues with Apocalypse, and there are issues with Dark Phoenix. My biggest thing is, why don't they just come out and say, because Days of Future Past confused everybody because it fused the 2 universes together. Mm-hmm. Which is, it was a great film and it got great reviews and it did really well at the box office. But it fused the original X-Men universe, which was populated by Patrick Stewart, James Marsden, Ian McKellen, Famke Janssen, and James Marsden, and fused that one with the current iteration.
Yeah, the thing is, X-Men wasn't even set in the present; it was set in the future. The established characters, it was set in the future.
Was it?
It was a little bit in the future. I
don't know about that. I'm not sure. The new version of the characters in Dark Phoenix is set in the 80s with teenage versions of Cyclops, Nightcrawler. It's the X-Men Evolution group from the cartoon series.
Right.
It's Ty Sheridan as Cyclops, Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, Cody Smith-McPhee as Nightcrawler, and a few of the other ones. Plus Jennifer Lawrence is back as Mystique, and Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy, who played Mystique, Magneto, and Professor X in the later series. Considering Apocalypse didn't go over very well, and rightfully so. It was good, but it wasn't terrific. I'm worried about this one, and I like everybody in this film. You know as well as I do, there is no young actor I have more admiration for on this planet right now than possibly maybe Ezra Miller, than Ty Sheridan. He is a brilliant young actor who can morph from character to character and part to part. And I like the way he plays the teenage Dickie version of Scott. Mm-hmm. But you're right, it doesn't fit with the continuity. I'm like, what the hell? And that doesn't even go into New Mutants, which doesn't even have the X-Men name on it.
Nope.
Because they've decided to turn it into a horror film, which has now been bumped 3 times. And if Fox has their way right now, I'm betting Disney is going to eat the $110 million they've already shot on that film and bury it permanently.
Yeah.
I really do think that. Even though there are trailers out there, I don't think New Mutants is ever going to see the light of day now that the merger has happened.
I don't either. And considering the fact that what I saw of it, I was like...
oh my God, the trailer's horrible.
Nope.
The trailer is awful.
I was like, I have nothing. I have no feelings for this at all.
And like I said, they just completely took the X-Men name off of it, even though there's still... It's like... what was the name of that show in the early 2000s? Mutant X, which was an X-Men show, but not with the X-Men name on it.
Nope.
There you go.
What's the point?
Yeah.
See, my thing about X-Men: The Dark Phoenix is that, and I realize now I'm going to sound like Stacy. No,
not in this case. That storyline ran what, 4 years?
It ran a long time in the X-Men continuity.
And it into just under 90.
It ran a long time in the X-Men continuity with the adult X-Men.
Yeah,
and it took its time establishing Jean Grey's death, Jean Grey coming back as the Phoenix, Jean being corrupted by the Hellfire Club, by Mastermind who was working for the Hellfire Club, and becoming Dark Phoenix, Jean going completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and eventually dying at the hands of Scott, not Wolverine, which made it more tragic in the comics.
Well, there is no love triangle between the three of them in the comics.
Yes, there is.
Oh,
well,
is there? Okay.
It kind of got squeezed in later.
Okay.
And it got more pronounced in different iterations of the comic, like the Ultimates verse. But considering the Ultimates verse had Pietro boning Wanda, that's let's not even
family show. Honestly, really.
Well,
I thought you were a lady.
I tells it like I sees it.
Okay, fair enough.
Also coming out superhero-wise in 2019 is Hellboy.
Right.
Yeah.
The remake.
April 12th is the, as of right now, when Hellboy is coming back to theaters as a reboot. There were 2 Hellboy movies previously, done by Guillermo del Toro with,
just Ron, 2? I thought there were 3.
No, there were 2.
2? Okay.
I
never saw them.
No, there was Hellboy and Hellboy the Golden Army. There was also a Hellboy animated series on
I think they wrote the 3rd movie and never found financing for it. I think
HBO
that's what
or
happened.
Netflix. I forget who did it. The 2 films, Ron Perlman was the big red guy, and no, I don't mean Kane.
And the big red machine.
Well,
that's also the Cincinnati Reds, so they have to be very careful with that.
Want to bet?
Could be worse. It could be Marge Schott.
Ooh.
Look up that name and see what happens. Anyway, go ahead.
David Harbour, who has found fame on Stranger Things, but was a long-established working character actor before that, has stepped into what I can't even believe would be a prosthetic job, because I've seen the pictures, and it's amazing. I think I'm really happy that this is happening. I don't know why it's happening, though, because the Hellboy movie was really well thought of to begin with. It's happening because they couldn't
get the financing. Del Toro couldn't get the financing from where they did before for the 3rd one, so they decided to reboot it. They almost got really screwed up by casting somebody completely wrong, and one of the characters was supposed to be Asian, and he was Caucasian.
Yeah, he was the guy that played the bad guy in Deadpool.
Yeah. Oh, him.
Yeah.
Francis.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the guys at the nurse place where I go for my treatments. Anyway, it's interesting. Interesting that they did that, and so soon because they were well liked. Let's use that. Are you finished with Hellboy? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me use what you just said to segue into a couple of other movies. Stranger Things has been the big, huge thing on Netflix the last couple of years. It's season 3 premiere coming up on July 4th. Several of its stars are moving into the feature film realm, including Finn Wolfhard, who is doing the voice of Pugsley Addams in the new animated Addams Family, which hits at Christmas time. Mm-hmm. And it is supposed to be absolutely hilarious from what I've heard of. It's funny and scary and rich, and I've forgotten who wrote it, but it is an Oscar-winning screenwriter, and it's going to be huge. But Millie Bobby Brown, who plays Eleven, is front and center in Kim's most anticipated film of the summer, or the spring, or summer. I think it's out in July, or I don't know. You'll get me the date.
I'll get you the date.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters. The legendary sequel to the first one, and is the middle segment of the trilogy, which will conclude in 2021 with Kong versus Godzilla. Mm-hmm. So, or Godzilla versus Kong.
Or however it's going
to Frankenstein meets Danger Mouse, or Danger Mouse. Oh, anyway, go ahead.
I
blew my own joke. Anyway,
as of right now, Godzilla King of the Monsters is supposed to be coming out on May 31st.
May 31st. Okay.
Yes.
So Memorial Day weekend. Oh God, that's going to be a huge one then.
As far as I know, the only character No, I'm sorry. I tell a lie. I thought the only character that was going to be in it from the first film, Legendary's version of Godzilla, was Ken Watanabe's character. I was wrong.
His assistant's with him, too.
David Stratham
David Stratham's back? Ooh.
Yes.
I loved his military guy. He was great.
The cast also
I love him anyway. He's
the
a
cast also
fantastic
includes
actor.
some other people that we think are terrific, including Thomas Middleditch, who we both love.
I didn't know he was in Godzilla.
And Zhang Ji.
Yeah.
So I know that you'll be happy.
I have to admit, you are way more excited about the trailer for this than I've been, because to me, the trailer seems overly dark compared to what, and I don't mean, we'll get to that in a minute, I mean in tone, than the first film was. It's almost like the world is on the verge of apocalypse and blah, 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 and are these titans here to save us or destroy us? And yet again, all the footage is so dark you can barely see the monsters. That drove me nuts about Godzilla. And see, that's my thing. It drove you nuts with Cloverfield. It drove me nuts with Godzilla. Because we never really got a good look at Godzilla until the last minute and a half of the movie. And I'm like, are you serious?
I don't agree with that. I think we got a lot of really good looks at Godzilla in Hawaii.
Shadows.
I don't agree with...
Shadows.
See, the one thing...
Silhouettes.
Okay, there's a couple of things that I want to bring up about this.
I
film.
love that movie. I've watched it like 20 times, but it's great.
There's a couple of
Mostly
things I want
love
to bring
Aaron
up
Taylor
about
Johnson,
this
but-
film. We know that the film is about the fact that these other monsters are out there, and we don't know. We know that King Ghidorah is the ultimate enemy, the big bad that Godzilla's supposed to fight, but there are other monsters in this film.
Rodan and
including
Mothra
Rodan
are also in this.
and Mothra.
Which is interesting. Did they ever cross Rodan and Godzilla in the original series? Because
Yes,
they
they
did.
actually did.
Because I don't
not
remember
in
seeing them.
not in a movie with the two of them together solo, where they're the only monsters in the movie.
Right,
but
yeah.
Godzilla
and
and
group.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Including
that Rodan
one
was
movie,
included in those.
including one movie
I
where
doubt her. She's the kaiju expert here.
I'm
so.
trying to think of which one that is. That might be Godzilla versus Monster X, or it might be.
So it does make sense that Rodan is in the mix here. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay.
There's a part where the two little twin fairies are trying to get Godzilla and Rodan to work together to fight another monster, and there's Godzilla's whole roar, garble, garble, and they're like, "Oh, Godzilla, what terrible language!" I'm like,
There's no sign of them in this film from what we've seen so far either, which doesn't make any sense because they are always closely connected to Mothra.
They are closely
connected,
connected
and we know
to
Mothra
Mothra.
has a large part in this film.
So I think they might feel like having the cosmos, which is what the two little twin fairy
They
girls
were originally known as the Peanuts.
Well, that was
the name
of the group.
But they called them that because that was what the singing duo that played them were called the Peanuts.
Okay. I think they might think that having them in this film might be hearkening back to the camp stuff, and they might not want that.
But also
I don't think
on the
it
other side, it's such an ingrained part of the Mothra myth that I don't think people will accept it without it.
No, I think you might have a good point. I
mean,
do. No, I think you might have a really good point
They're supposed to be
there.
Mothra's voices.
Basically, yeah, you're right.
They're the muse for.
They're her mouthpieces.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I'm like,
I
if
think
they
it'd
make
be interesting if they did a couple of guys instead of a couple of girls for a change.
Yeah.
Gender flipping and all that stuff going on, so popular nowadays. But
also, and I realize this is making me sound like a total geeky McNerdly nerd. I don't care. If they turn Mothra heel in this movie, I am not going to be happy. And if Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
There has been a few things flying around the internet that Mothra is a bad guy in this film. If it is, I don't think it's going to be Ghidorah controlled for like a few minutes, I think, like they've done in the other films occasionally. Because Mothra is not a bad guy. Mothra is usually considered a good guy. So
Mothra is a benevolent monster. She is. I'm not saying she doesn't cause collateral damage.
I can't say good girl. That's not very Me Too. Sorry.
I'm not saying she doesn't cause collateral damage because, hello, giant monster,
Giant moth.
But it's not.
Why did they make a moth instead of a butterfly? I've never understood that. Moths are usually
because butterfly rod doesn't really work.
No, but I'm saying moths are usually considered plain in compared to the brilliant colors of a butterfly, And I've just always thought that was kind of weird that they would pick a moth.
I don't know. Well, I don't know what the
that
Japanese word for butterfly is. To be perfectly honest, Mosura is what she is referred to in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. I think maybe they just figured that a butterfly might be too feminine.
Maybe.
I really can't say for certain. But the thing that I want to bring up that I find really interesting about this film is the fact that at least one person in universe in this film gets it. Because we see in the trailer, we see Dr. Ishiro Serizawa, who is played by Ken Watanabe, and he's talking with, I think it's obviously like the U.S. military or whatever, or the U.S. government.
David Strathairn was the army captain in the original film.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Admiral Stenz.
Yeah.
And one of the people from the political side of things, aka the people that don't know jack squat, they're all like, "Oh, you mean we should make Godzilla our pet?" And everybody kind of chuckles. And Dr. Serizawa says, "No, we'd be his."
Have they established? Have they established what relationship he is to the original Dr. Serizawa? Dr. Serizawa, for those of you who don't know, and I can't believe if you listen to this show you don't know the backstory of this particular family of movies, because Kim is an absolute fanatic for them. Dr. Serizawa was the creator of the oxygen destroyer in the original Gojira. What relation? He's got to be it can't be a son, because they didn't have any. He's got to be a nephew or something.
I don't know. I don't remember them making any kind of reference toward that.
But since they have clearly referred to the original cycles.
Yeah.
In the opening credits in the original movie, then they had mentioned, I believe it was something to the effect of the atomic bomb tests on Bikini Atoll were trying to kill it.
Yeah.
It was a cover for trying to kill it. So yeah, they've connected it to the original series. But I'm wondering what
I remember him talking about how he carried his father's watch, which was stopped when the atomic bombs were dropped in Japan. Yeah.
And Hiroshima, yeah.
And other than that, I don't remember them saying anything.
Serizawa, obviously he's related to that character.
It might be that, or it might be a tribute to the original. I don't really know. And I'm actually not sure, to be perfectly honest, and excuse
we didn't bring this up a few years ago because we didn't really pay attention until
excuse my ignorance. I don't know how common or uncommon the name Serizawa might be in Japan. I really can't say.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I am super duper ridiculously bouncing up and down excited about this movie, because what I've seen of the other monsters, when they showed King Ghidorah
they've only shown really good look at Ghidorah. We have only seen shadows of Mothra and
that is if you don't see it coming, that is a piss your pants moment, because he is horrifying.
He's huge.
I
mean, yeah.
It's a 3-headed giant golden winged dragon. What the hell? I mean, I think your average human being response would be pee your pants and run the other way as fast as humanly possible. I myself,
that was a picture I really didn't need. Thank you.
Well, I can't wait for this movie, and I am like I said, I mean, I'm bouncing up and down waiting for Godzilla vs. Kong, because that's going to be awesome.
How do you know it's not going to be Kong vs. Godzilla?
Because Godzilla was first.
No, it wasn't. Kong was first in 1933.
Godzilla is probably older than that.
Anyway, just as an aside...
And alphabetically, so there, and yeah.
As an aside, Kaiju Corner, Kim's brand new show, premieres this week on Patreon. Don't miss it.
I get to rabbit on about monsters.
We have more stuff coming up.
When Subject Cinema returns.
Blockbuster or bomb, it's all good for us. This is Subject Cinema.
eCinemaOne is your choice for great info and commentary about the world of film and entertainment. Daily trailer postings, the latest news and film reviews, commentary about the state of the industry, the weekly Subject Cinema and 3-Minute Weekend podcast, and so much more you won't believe it. New material is being posted daily, so join us each day and see what you're missing out on. Once you visit, you will always be back for more. eCinemaOne from PNRNetworks, eCinemaOne.com.
Subject Cinema.
are looking at 2019 and the movies therein on this week's edition of SC19. I'm TC Kirkham.
Hi, I'm Kim Brown.
Subject Cinema number 622, January 6th, 2019.
Yep.
Don't forget, be out there and to get all the good benefits of this stuff from now on, you need to be a good Patreon patron. $5 and more a month gets you 3 extra shows starting this week, and we're hoping that you will be there for us. We'll talk more about that in our little plugs later.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's hit this little thing called Star Wars in December. Star Wars is number 9, episode 9, is coming out December 20th on the same weekend as Disney's live-action Aladdin and the live-action remake of Cats.
Yep.
This is going to be a
Cats has always been
disaster
live action.
weekend. Well, yeah, but I mean, they have done an animated adaptation at one point for TV, a little shorter one and stuff. But they
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. So and then a PBS version.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is got all big stars. But Star Wars, I mean, Disney's out of their mind putting Aladdin opposite Star Wars. Why would they open 2 mega budget films on the same weekend from the same studio? That doesn't even make sense.
I don't know. I hadn't heard that they were doing that.
I didn't either, but Aladdin's presently dated there, according to boxoffice.com, so we'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, episode 9, J.J. Abrams back behind the camera again.
Yep.
After so many fans seem to think Rian Johnson made a hash of it, I thought he did a great job. I loved Last Jedi, but it was interesting to see.
Well, according to Wikipedia, Aladdin comes out on May 24th. But
okay, so Wikipedia's got... All right, that's good then. That makes more sense than what they have. Box office is always wrong with their dates.
Yeah, so sometimes it's Wikipedia, so...
Yeah, but I trust Wikipedia over this one because that doesn't make any sense that Disney would schedule 2 multi-million-dollar productions on the same weekend.
Yeah, but Cats is definitely, as of right now, scheduled to come out on December 20th. I think that might be because they want to give it to want people who can't...
you can see that, right? Aladdin is listed on box office at that date. I'm like, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Maybe they're thinking that people who can't get tickets to Last Jedi, it's episode 9, will just go to Cats as like something where we're out, we might as well go to the movies. Robert, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. Anyway.
Star Wars.
I'll let you have this because Star Wars is your baby too.
Yes.
So.
Star Wars Episode 9, no, it doesn't have a title yet, is supposed to be...
The next one.
No, that's the Lego movie.
No, that's the isn't that Sharknado movies? Sharknado 3, the third one.
Could we not, please? Now I've got Lego, Star Wars, and Sharknado in my head, and just give me a second. I gotta knock everything back.
Well, believe me, you're better off without Lego and Sharknado in your head.
That's all we need, a Lego version of Sharknado. Make it happen, sci-fi. Anyway,
Oh, God. Oh, my God! You've opened a monster! Gah!
If you guys do that, I want royalties. Anyway, Star Wars
Asylum
episode...
won't pay you for that. They're too cheap.
Star Wars Episode 9, as of right now, we have been told takes place a year after the events of The Last Jedi. So, Kim has finally stopped crying. And,
I was going to say something to that effect, but I'm not going to. I don't need to now.
Yeah, because, after I had mopped up my shattered...
The river going through the house is now stopped, yeah.
After I mopped up the shattered pieces of my childhood love, but I'm fine, don't worry about me. This film...
Was I not there for you?
You were there. No, you were there. You were very kind and loving and supportive. You were. I give you all the credit in the world.
Huh.
No, you were. You were very, very kind and loving and supportive of me, and, just knocking on the bathroom door going, honey, are you okay in there? And I know he's out there thinking, did I make sure the razors were out of that room? Anyway, well, we know that at the point in where we left things in The Last Jedi, things were once again looking extraordinarily bleak for the rebels trying to, bring freedom to the galaxy against the evil First Order. Now, the thing is, for once, things on the bad guys' side aren't looking so hotsy-totsy either, because The Last Jedi brought around the what the hell just happened death of the leader of the First Order, General Snoke, at the hands of his second in command, emo bitch Kylo Ren. So you've got this...
But did it?
Most people don't come back from being bisected by a lightsaber, babe.
But
unless your name is Jason Voorhees.
But was that really him?
Oh, for the love of Larry, we're not getting into a Doombot situation here, are we?
I'm just going over things that I've heard on fan rumors and stuff online.
Arg. Okay, let's just assume for a second we can all trust our eyes, and Snoke bit the dirt. Now you've got the whole... They're saying that as of right now, Kylo Ren is the leader of the First Order because that's the guy you want to put in charge of stuff. Someone who has...
as much stability as Edward Cullen.
Ow.
Yeah, anyway.
Someone who has I was going to say someone who throws temper tantrums that would make a child at Walmart step back and go, damn. So you've got him, and you've got General Hux, played by Domhnall Gleeson, behind him, who is probably looking for a place to put the knife in.
Yeah.
So you've got this whole... I'm assuming...
No, he's in pretty big trouble after blowing the end of the... after blowing things at the end of the movie, though, I bet.
Well, yeah, but he's probably not as in... Well, I'm assuming that Kylo wound up blaming the death of Snoke on Rey. Because he's probably not going to be like, yeah, I shivved him. Not sorry. But anyway. And you've got the whole relationship, quote, quote, between Rey and Kylo. Just for the record, I don't ship this because Kylo Ren is a gaslighting, manipulative a-hole. And
hey, he happens to be the son of two of your favorite characters.
Yes, one of whom he killed. And the other one, he's probably going to wind up being responsible for her death somehow. Since, unfortunately, Carrie Fisher is no longer with us. Although Leia
she does appear in the
new
film.
Leia is in the film, and we also know that Mark Hamill will be back as Luke Skywalker, apparently, I'm assuming, as a Force ghost. So... I will be bringing along a roll of Scott towels, and everything will be fine.
Hey, no brand names. We don't have any promotional stuff here.
Yeah. Oh, we ought to though. We should write to Scott Towels and be like, Scott Towels for your emotional movie needs. It's or Kleenex. I should just bring a box of Kleenex and just have done with it.
That's a brand name too.
Is a sponge a brand name? Because
no.
Maybe a sponge would just work better. I'll just bring a sponge in a bucket. We'll just do it that way.
No, then we could be on intellectual stuff with SpongeBob. Be careful there.
Shut up. We also know that
shut it up.
We also know that some people we haven't seen for a bit are going to be back in this film, including Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian, which I'm excited about. I'm confused.
Of course, they're probably going to kill him off like they've done everybody else. So.
I'm confused, but I'm excited. And other people are coming back. Oscar Isaac, John Boyega, Kelly Marie Tran, who is one of my favorite actresses.
And who the fanboys are just, I'm sure, so overjoyed about.
Yeah, and to the fanboys, I got 2 words for you.
Yes, don't say them. Thank you.
Anyway, I am really... Now, we know this is probably not going to be the last Star Wars film. It's going to be the last...
It's the last in this trilogy.
It's the last in this trilogy.
And it might be the last in this particular universe. The ones that Rian Johnson is working on now is a separate universal thing. But it's part of the overall broad universe, but not set.
It's part of the Star Wars universe, but it might not be about this group of characters. And you know what? I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, I am too.
Because Star Wars is a universe now. It's big enough that it can be a universe.
As long as it doesn't have any, Asian or black women in power, because man, I can't stand that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, if that's your attitude...
I hope you guys know that's sarcasm.
Yeah. If that's your attitude, please lock yourself in Mummy's basement and do us all a favor and don't come out.
That whole controversy was just completely floored me. That was the least thing I expected from the Warsies. I really didn't. And I'm like, oh my God,
It made me so upset because I was like, where has this...
They don't bitch a lot about Gwendolyn Christie, which is interesting.
They don't have to look at her.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
they
true.
don't have to see her
Captain
face.
Phasma usually has her helmet on. That's true.
And, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, other than the fact that you can
Could
see...
we all please grow up a little bit and
Other
just
than the
move
fact
forward
that-
into out of the Cro-Magnon era, please?
Other than the fact that you can see that she does have breasts and, you know...
But
So-
she acts masculine.
But she acts masculine, so that makes it okay. Because the thing is, she
Apparently.
probably acts more masculine than most of those guys. So,
Ouch.
her balls are probably bigger too.
You tell we have no patience for these guys? Anyway.
Nope. And I don't really care who knows it.
No, I don't either.
Bring it, bitches. I don't care.
Don't make trouble. Anyway.
I don't want to make. I'm not trying to make trouble.
Bring it, bitches, is not making
you
trouble.
Well, you know the thing that really bothers me? For the most part, these people that are out there that are spouting this hate and poison are younger than me.
I know. They're
So
mostly
you know what
like
that
30 and under.
So you know what that means? I have seniority. I was a Star Wars fan before you were even born.
Yep.
So once again, in the immortal words
These
of
are the people
DX...
that became fans during the prequels. That's terrifying in itself.
Yeah. So
Because
once again...
there were two of them were terrible. So it's
In
like,
the immortal
okay.
words of DX, I got 2 words
All right,
for you.
enough with the DX references. Anyway.
Suck it. Anyway.
I love it when the show is dated 20 years ago.
Fine, duck it. Anyway. Fred doesn't like you either. So,
For those of you who might be new to Subject Cinema, Fred is her postdoc.
yes.
Anyway.
Okay, looking on to other big films coming out in 2019, you mentioned one
Ask him when you see her to see Fred. If you ask her to see Fred, she'll give you a quarter.
What? They should give me a quarter. They should... What is this? Let's make a deal? You know,
Anyway.
you pull a duck out of your purse, I'll give you $100. No, it's... Although, if you actually don't believe I do carry around a rubber duck in my purse and you want to meet, and we ever do meet, ask
I'll
me.
put
and
a
I will.
picture of Fred the purse duck up on the site this week.
You mentioned Aladdin, which is one of 2 films that are coming out that are live-action remakes, although why one of them is called live-action, I don't know.
Yeah, because The Lion King, it mystifies me, although it's CGI live action.
Ow.
I don't understand the purpose of redoing the Lion King cartoon as a cartoon with CGI cartoons looking like real animals. What's the point?
I don't understand the purpose of a cartoon called The Lion King, which was a blatant ripoff of a previous anime called Kimba the White Lion.
Yes, it was.
And nobody wants to act like that actually happened, which it totally did.
People know. Disney won't admit it.
Oh, they won't admit it. They still won't admit it. You know, but
Aladdin
totally
is getting interesting buzz. Some people think it's going to be a bomb. And Looper was one of them. Looper was really calling it one of the biggest bombs of the year. I think that has to do with the casting of Will Smith. They don't seem to like Will Smith anywhere. They also can predict Gemini Man's going to be a bomb. And I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know. Aladdin is so closely associated with Robin Williams that I don't know if Will Smith is going to have the stones to pull it off.
yeah,
I gotta be honest.
There's that. See, the thing about Aladdin is the fact that I'm kind of like, when they came out with, we're doing a live-action version of Aladdin, and my first response was, why?
Yeah.
Which was pretty much my same response about Solo, a Star Wars movie, where it was all, this is the backstory you've been asking for. No,
When?
it's not.
When?
No, it isn't. Also the fact that, and I realize this one's a little bit, me being a little bit annoyed, and it might seem a bit nitpicky. The name of the movie is Aladdin, right? You would assume that would mean the main character is Aladdin, right? You'd assume all of the press...
The main character in Aladdin, the cartoon, isn't Aladdin. It's a genie.
Well, that's my point. Why not just call the movie Genie and have done with it? You know, it's
Because
like...
that's going to bring to mind Barbara Eden.
Well, that's I Dream of Genie. I mean... Oh, don't give them any ideas about remaking that.
They've done that for TV 2 or 3 times already.
Yeah, but those were continuations of the...
They were.
They weren't a reboot, which...
I don't know. I could see Scarlett Johansson as Genie. Oh, that actually sounds really good. Hey, if they can reboot Charlie's Angels into a woke movie, why not? Why not? I Dream of Jeannie. Anyway,
I'm not touching it. I'm not.
Can you see her as Jeannie and Ezra Miller as Tony?
No. I can see Ezra Miller as Jeannie simply because.
Yeah, the scary thing is I can see Ezra Miller as Jeannie too.
And
anyway, go ahead.
And he'd rock that outfit.
He would. If you don't know what we're talking about, go see the new issue of GQ. Anyway,
I just kind of feel like I don't understand why we need all these. I mean, other than the fact that people are going to be like, "Well, duck him, they make money."
Yeah.
That Disney's taken all these.
Well, I understand the idea of redoing these films, these classic animation, for a modern audience in live action. I think that's a great idea. We both were pleasantly surprised by Maleficent.
Yes, we were.
We enjoyed that movie. We did not see Cinderella.
No.
We did not see Beauty and the Beast. But we liked Maleficent and rather
even though that's basically taking the whole story of Sleeping Beauty and giving it the wicked treatment.
Yeah, basically that's what they did.
But it was great. I mean, I don't think I've ever enjoyed Angelina Jolie in a movie more, to be perfectly honest with you.
They're doing it again, although not for the big screen. They just finished wrapped shooting on Lady and the Tramp, which is for the new Disney streaming service that'll premiere later this year, with Kiersey Clemons as Darling and Thomas Mann as Jim Dear. Plus the voices of I forgot who does the voices of the dogs. They're using real live dogs, not animated dogs.
Right.
So
and they're doing a live action version of Mulan.
And Mulan is
which I'm sure is going to piss somebody off because
Mulan is going to be the largest Asian cast in history. And I mean they really Crystal Liu from Forbidden Kingdom is starring as Mulan. It's going to be interesting to see how it does it. I think that's coming out in 2020. So I'm not
sure. I just know that I'm sure once that actually does come out, I'm sure someone's going to get pissed.
I think that's being a little short-sighted. Let's wait and see what happens.
2020 is when it's supposed to be coming out as of right now. Yifei Liu is playing Mulan. Yeah. And Gong Li's in it as well, so there's
a lot of good people
going to be
in it.
amazing. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about The Lion King and Aladdin. I am kind of, sometimes I'm of the if it ain't broke, don't fix it school of mind. But also, I do understand the idea of making things new for a new generation. I get that.
The Lion King bothers me because they could have done what I thought they were doing, which was making the Broadway version with the people and the characters,
and the
way that it's been such a monster Tony Award-winning hit. And when I saw the trailer, I mean, God love him, Jon Favreau has become a master of this stuff, having done Iron Man and then having progressed to The Jungle Book, which was a masterpiece, way more than we ever thought. That was another one we loved that we didn't think we'd like very well. And well, he didn't do Pete's Dragon, but we loved that one too. And so to see his direction and stuff here on The Lion King is fine, but why? I mean, it's basically just the cartoon, but with CGI animals instead of the cartoons.
Right. I find it very interesting.
I don't see any point.
I find it very interesting going over the voice cast for The Lion King.
It has a great cast.
It has an amazing cast, and it has one person in it from the original film. Can you guess who that is?
James Earl Jones.
Yep.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones is back as Mufasa.
Yeah.
Everybody else is someone different.
Current.
Although I do have to admit, Chiwetel Ejiofor as Scar, that's actually making me want to see this movie now.
Yeah.
Because I love him.
Yeah,
although I do love Jeremy Irons. Although you'll actually want to see this movie too because you won't have to look at him since Seth Rogen is voicing Pumbaa.
I don't have a problem with Seth Rogen when he does voices.
When he does voices, yeah.
I like him. I actually liked him in The Disaster Artist too, so.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize he was voicing Zazu. That's funny. John Oliver is voicing Zazu, which was voiced by Rowan Atkinson.
I've never seen the original.
Yeah, so. That's funny. I don't know. I mean, I want all these... I want all these movies to do well. I mean, I'm honestly one of these people... for the most part, I like to think I'm not a vengeful person or anything like that when it comes to certain things. I always want movies to do well because I want people to go to the movies and have a good time or be moved or scared out of their wits or whatever. There are some times when I want certain movies to bomb simply because I think the source material is offensive.
Right.
Or whatever.
Slender Man.
Yeah. Or, Slender Man.
Was a good example of that, yeah.
Stuff like that. And
it did.
Pretty much anything by Michael Moore. But that's on a personal level. But that's just me. But I just I do feel like sometimes I'm kind of like, okay, I want this to do well, but I'm not sure it's going to. There's so many people that The Lion King is their childhood
the new
movie,
animated version of The Lion King will be one of the biggest hits of the year.
You think so?
I already know so. So many people at work have been talking about and how excited they are after seeing the trailer. It is going to be a monster. So we'll see.
It's going to be real. I mean, what I've seen of the trailer, I am like, wow. I mean,
they did a great job. The animals look real.
Yeah.
100% real.
But the fact that they're calling it live action irritates me. I realize
I am in full agreement with you on that. It is not live action.
I realize I'm being so nitpicky, though, but the reason that we're being that way is because we don't have a term for this.
Yeah, we don't. We're running into the uncanny valley area now of some of the animation that it's getting so well done. Congress. Mm-hmm. See the 2015-14 film, The Congress, with Robin Wright, you'll understand what we mean.
But if you come out of it all depressed, don't blame us.
I love that film, but of course, Cody Smith-McPhee is in it. I think he's awesome.
It was an amazing film to look at, but I wanted to throw myself in traffic after it was done.
It was very depressing, and so this is so realistic. What do you call it?
I don't know.
We're getting to the point where the digital stuff is scary. The animals have been good all along, and they really took a giant leap with Happy Feet, and then another giant leap with
it's different
the How to Train Your Dragon.
It's different from a movie like The Jungle Book.
Yeah,
where
Jungle Book was amazing.
Live action.
Yeah.
No, you
didn't. You had one kid and a green screen.
Well,
for 99%
but
film.
one kid still counts as live action because that's an actual human being. So that still counts as live action.
Yeah.
But in this, you don't have any at all. So I don't know what to call it.
I don't think there is, but I think you're right.
I don't think there is. I don't think there is. Not even like, man is the ultimate enemy of nature kind of thing.
Quickly,
like they did in Bambi.
Before we end this segment up, can you pull up Cats?
Yeah.
Cats has been one of the most beloved Broadway shows of all time. Mm-hmm. And they are putting together an all-star cast for a live-action version that will premiere the same day as Star Wars.
Yes.
Right now. Hopefully they'll be wise and move it up a couple weeks. Ian McKellen leading the cast.
The cast, according to Wikipedia.
They don't have the characters there either.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they do.
They do.
Okay, because the characters have not been announced on most
According
characters.
to Wikipedia, Jennifer Hudson is Grisabella.
I knew that, yeah.
Grisabella the glamour cat who gets the song "Memory,"
which makes sense. Jennifer Hudson's going to knock that out of the ballpark.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And I'm going to cry. Taylor Swift as Bomblerina. Deal. James Corden as Bustopher Jones. Ian McKellen. Oh, Ian McKellen's not playing. Huh? I thought Ian McKellen was playing Old Deuteronomy. Mm-hmm. He's not.
What's he playing?
Ian McKellen is playing. Sir Ian McKellen, thank you very much. Is playing Gus the theater cat.
Okay. That makes sense, actually.
There's a few other people that are in it that they don't have listed who they're playing, like Laurie Davidson and Lay Twins. I don't know who that is. I'm assuming those might be the people playing Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer. I don't know. Met Towley is playing Jemima. Idris Elba is McCavity, who is the bad cat. So I'm like, that's awesome casting. Judi Dench is playing Old Deuteronomy.
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay. That's, okay.
Don't mind that sonic boom that just
I don't
happened.
know, yeah.
I don't know what that
Francesca Hayward as Victoria, Stephen McRae as Skimbleshanks, Rebel Wilson as Jenny Anydots.
Yeah, I knew that too.
According to this, Jason Derulo is playing Rum Tum Tugger.
Oh, well, that makes sense. You know why?
No.
Because Rum Tum Tugger always repeats his name before everything he does, too. Anyway,
And Robert Fairchild as Monkey
I love
Strap
Jason Derulo.
and
He's awesome. But
Eric Underwood as Admentus. I don't know how you say that.
you have to admit,
That,
the
no,
lyrics
that's
of
real.
the song
No, that's
talking
really
about Rum Tum
interesting.
Tugger.
Yeah.
And since Jason has a habit of saying his name at the beginning of every song he does, it makes sense.
Like I said, this is what it says on Wikipedia, and I hadn't heard that one. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pause so much there, but
What do you
not
think?
that's not incredible casting, because Rum Tum Tugger is supposed to be this. He's a rock and roll star. He's
Yeah.
a showman. He's flamboyant and just,
Yeah.
look at me, and that's Jason Derulo.
It makes sense. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
Jason Derulo.
that's
He's a
awesome.
great
I
artist.
think that's awesome
He's lucky to
casting.
be here right now, too. He was messed up there for a
Yes,
while. with
he
the-
was. He was extremely badly injured in
Yeah,
an accident,
and,
so good for him.
Yeah. This has got me worried, though, because is Zemeckis directing this? Who's directing this? Chris Columbus? Or is it Robert
Hold
Zemeckis?
on, wait a minute.
One of them.
Tom Hooper.
Tom Hooper. Okay. That's interesting. All right. So Tom Hooper is doing this. He did Les Mis. He did The King's Speech. Good directing. But is it a good idea to come out at Oscar time?
I don't know.
I'm wondering if they should bump this back to more around Labor Day, actually, than deep into the award season. Because while I know that they want it to do well, so far, whenever they've tried that with these movies, only Chicago has worked. Les Mis was a bomb at the box office. The Greatest Showman was a bomb at the box office. All the recent musicals that have come out in December
I have to be
bombed.
honest. Cats is one of my favorite musicals.
yeah.
I love it. I've seen it on stage live. I don't know how they've done this. I mean, if I was going to shoot it, nobody asked me, but if I was going to shoot it, I would shoot it like you were shooting it on stage.
But they've done
You
that
know-
for PBS. Why would they do that?
I'm just saying I wouldn't throw in a bunch of extraneous stuff.
Well,
is
yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
You know?
Casting's good, though. Except
Oh, the
I
casting-
I don't get the Judi Dench thing.
No.
They just wanted to do something different. But
Well, it's not like it's not the first time she's
I did
done
tell
this.
you that, by the way, a few
Oh,
weeks
okay.
ago.
Okay, no.
So-
And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm definitely not. I love Judi Dench. I think she's amazing.
And she does sing beautifully. If you've not seen her sing,
I mean,
she's
it's not the
a
first time we
gorgeous voice.
haven't seen the whole gender flip thing done. I mean, Helen Mirren did it in The Tempest. And, you know,
That's not a
she
good
was
movie to bring
well,
up.
she was amazing. That
movie
movie
sucked.
sucked,
Oh, God,
but
that
she
movie
was
was
awesome.
awful.
And I love Judi Dench. So the idea of her playing Old Deuteronomy, I'm like, all right. I'm really interested in Rebel Wilson as Jenny Anydots because that's my character.
Yeah.
Jenny Anydots is the character that I would love to play because I think I would have a lot of
And
fun.
Rebel Wilson's a good
I think I would
casting
do
for
a
that.
good job. I mean, I mean, every woman and her dog would love to play Grisabella because, I mean, let's be perfectly honest, who wouldn't want to sing Memory? You know, it's just a question of, you know, the fact that 99% of us couldn't sing it.
The only person
like
I would rather
Jennifer
have
Hudson,
seen,
you know.
The only person I might have rather have seen in that role, just to hear the song, would have been Adele. I love Jennifer Hudson, but Adele would have been something else to hear her sing Memory, which
Yeah,
I've
but
never
as
done.
far as I know, she's never really wanted to act.
No, she
I don't-
hasn't.
Yeah,
She's in
so there's
she's
that.
in Xavier Dolan's new film, but that's all.
But yeah, Jennifer's gonna knock that
Yeah. Oh,
out,
yeah.
out of the park,
Oh, yeah.
into the next park,
She
into
already
the
did
park
that in
after
Dream
that.
Girls and won an Oscar for it.
So
We'll be back with more.
bye.
There's a lot of movie talk happening here. This is Subject Cinema.
eCinemaBoston is your best choice for all the latest news and info about happenings in the world of film here in the hub of the universe. Local theater listings, ticketing info, reviews of local venues, spotlight on Boston actors, the latest film shoots, and a whole lot more. If you're in the Metro Boston area, you need eCinemaBoston from PNRNetworks. Once you visit, you will always be back for more. eCinemaBoston.com.
The best movies. Subject Cinema.
We're looking at upcoming films for 2019 this week on Subject Cinema. I'm Kim Brown.
I'm TC Kirkham. This is SC19 number 622, January 6th, 2019. Jeffrey Wells thinks we should stop doing that, by the way.
Doing what? 2000.
We're 20 years into the 2000s. Shouldn't we just be doing 2019, 2020, 2021 instead of 2019? Everybody, I'm guilty of it too. I do 2019 on 3 Minute Weekend and stuff. Speaking of which, plug time, everybody.
Yes.
Our little plug segment here. We have started a brand new relaunched Patreon campaign, and we are asking you to come on board. Starting this week, you will be getting 3 new shows exclusively to Patreon, starting with the premiere of Kaiju Corner this Wednesday, Kim's new all Kaiju show. It'll be available every other Wednesday on opposite weeks of her free show, which is
my free show, Ring Around the Rosie, which is my wrestling podcast. I just put up a new podcast this past week where I'm talking about things that I would like to see happen in the wrestling world in 2019. I hope
and
you
what
go check
we'd like
it out.
to see happen in 2019 here is for you guys to come on board with our Patreon campaign. We have a lot of things we have planned this year, and we could really use your support in doing it. Now, everyone who donates, no matter what level they're at, will have their name listed on all the PNR Networks websites under our Patreon supporters, which will come up in the next week. We've restructured all of our stuff, so if you've been over there and thought, oh, well, I'm not going to do that, come back over and look at our new perks list. I think you're going to like it a lot better. It was restructured last week. And as I said, at the $5 level every month, it will gain you access to 3 shows that will be available only to our Patreon subscribers at the $5 level and above. Kaiju Corner, Subject Cinema's Review, which may get a new title. I'm not sure I like that title anymore. And Subject Cinema's Freeze Frame. These are discussion shows. One all reviews, the other entertainment news, and they're separate from Subject Cinema. You can't get those shows unless you're a Patreon supporter. So come over and hook up with us. Become a patron and show us. Hey, we know there are hundreds of you out there that listen every week. Very few of you have come on board, and we really could use your help. So please come on board. $5 a month for the other shows, $2 a month starting level. You can go up to $100 a month. Everything in between with all kinds of cool perks. PNR Networks needs your help, and you support all of our shows, all of our sites. It's really, you won't even notice it. Just have it automatically taken out every month. You won't even notice it. So please check us out, patreon.com/PNR Networks. On our other shows, we have Subject Cinema, of course. You'll hear us refer to it as SC19 a lot now this season. This year is on every Sunday. Kim's shows, Platinum Rose's Garden, normally available on Saturdays during the Supernatural season. They're currently in hiatus. Her first new show will be 2 weeks from Saturday, right?
Yes. When I come back with episode 10 of season 14 of Supernatural, Nihilism. So I hope you come back and check that out.
That's a wonderful title.
Yes, I know. It just conjures pictures of puppies and rainbows, doesn't it?
That's at PlatinumRosesGarden.com, and as she said, RingAroundTheRosie.net for her wrestling show. Anthony Lamberti is currently having some problems with his camera equipment. But Aunt B's Nerd Grotto is over there, all the older episodes, and he will have some new shows up in the next couple of weeks. Definitely check it out at ComicGrotto.com. Cavebabble with Eric and Valerie Lyon doing all kinds of crazy stuff over there, including voiceovers for the new show. Thank you guys. And a few other things. It's available at Cavebabble.com. Our other shows here on the Subject Cinema channel, beginning again this week. We've been off for 6 months. We shouldn't have taken that long off. Front Row 5 and 10 will return this Thursday with our new season of shows.
Yes. Front Row 5 and 10 is our list show where each week one of us comes up with a list.
We'd rather you guys come up with the list, but we have to hear from you to do that.
We would definitely, if you want to send us a list, we'd love to hear it.
And give you credit and a prize.
Yep. And we do lists, and the lists usually involve all media, movies, TV, music, print, whatever.
Yep.
It's
we
a
do
fun
a little
show,
bit of everything.
And we actually don't know each other's choices on this show.
We don't tell
so that
each
can lead to some really funny,
it's fun
kind of thing. This week coming up is a list that I had picked
months ago. Yeah. We're finally doing
our top 10 favorite TV shows from Great Britain.
Yep.
And that covers all genres, so that should be fun.
That'll be coming up. We also have our 2 mini shows. 3-Minute Weekend and Tuesday Digidex. These are shows that run an average of 5 to 7 minutes every week and run down the top releases on DVD, Blu-ray, and on-demand streaming. That's Tuesday Digidex. And in theaters in the U.S., that's 3-Minute Weekend.
Yep. So you'll know where to spend your money and what's coming out where and stuff like that.
First thing in the morning on Tuesdays and Fridays at the 3-Minute Weekend channel.
And if you're of a more dramatic bent, you can you can take a listen to 2 shows that everybody in our little family got involved with.
Please listen if you haven't listened. We want to hear what you thought of them.
Yes. We have Manhattan Hammerdown As It Happened, which was released in conjunction with the 10-year anniversary of the J.J. Abrams film Cloverfield. It's our take on what else was happening around New York the night that something very big and extremely pissed off came out of New York Harbor. I want to bring up all of the dialogue was written by TC, which he won't bring up because he's very modest, but I'm not, and I'm going to shout
my own horn.
You don't have to. You got me.
Manhattan Hammerdown is almost a year old. It'll be a year old later this month, so please come over and check us out.
We also did a redo, a more modernist take on the H.G. Wells classic, The War of the Worlds.
Inspired by the Orson Welles version and also by the excellent version done in 1968 in conjunction with the 40th anniversary. 30th anniversary of the original one by WKBW AM in Buffalo, New York.
Yep.
And it was a lot of fun trying to come up with that. We're actually planning to expand that one this coming year with some other stuff. Because I didn't get to... We were so pressed for time that we didn't get to do everything we wanted to do with it. I wanted to have, EAS bulletins and everything in it too. We didn't get a chance to do that. That expanded version will appear sometime late in this year.
Yep.
And we have a couple more original productions up our sleeve. The first of which will probably be out sometime in the spring, and the other one in the fall.
Yes.
So hopefully we will tell you more about it when we get closer, and hopefully they'll be very cool.
Yeah. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow...
Wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We still have another show.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Catastrophe Vortex will
I'm sorry.
return this week.
Sorry.
Brand new season. I am updating it, and I know I've been saying that for months, but the brand new version is ready to go, and I hope everybody will like it. In addition to doing a film or two possibly every week, I will also be talking about the history of the disaster film and its ongoing progress throughout the continuing film world.
Yep.
Because we continue to get, there's some good ones coming out this year. We just saw The Quake a few weeks ago. It was terrific, and I saw The Quake. There's a new one I think it's called Arctic, which is Mads Mikkelsen's one-man, all is lost type thing after a plane crash.
Oh.
In the Arctic, and a few other things. So there's some good stuff coming out, and I'll have that. That'll be at catastrophevortex.com, and that will premiere next Saturday.
Okay.
Now you can talk about the emails and stuff.
If you would like to follow either of us on Twitter, you can follow me at PlatinumRoselle@Twitter.com, and TC has 2 different handles on Twitter.
I'm usually at eCinemaBoston, TC, or eCinemaBoston.com, but you can also get me at eCinemaOne.com and TKR1, or TKR Online, I forget which, on the Kirkham Report, which is also going to be back to normal after the end of this week. I'm catching up on things as we speak. And all my videos for music videos and stuff for the Kirkham Report will be back up and running. Hopefully without too much interruptions from the European Union in the near future.
And at the risk of blowing my own horn, if you'd like to look at any of my creative work, I have some of my work posted on fanfiction.net. You can look up my stuff, go to their author search and type in Platinum Rose Lady, and I have some poems and short stories and continuing series there you can check out if you are so inclined.
And we also want to remind you that right now is a very, very dangerous time for the Internet. The European Union is trying to put 2 new articles in place that could literally destroy the Internet as it is now known worldwide. You need to know what's going on and how to get involved. Article 11 will add charges, taxes, basically, to any link online to European websites, which makes no sense.
No.
And Article
it completely
13
defeats the purpose of the internet.
It's already failed in Germany and a couple other countries like that. And Article 13 will destroy the internet as we know it as a whole, because it's a copyright rule that will make YouTube impossible, not to mention a number of other major sites, and could major screw up streaming services. They basically want to put rules in place that would turn the open, free internet into a closed cable system. Mm-hmm. Everything licensed, everything like that. We have got to stop it. Please go to don'twreckthe.net. DONTWRECKTHE.net to get full information on what is going on, how to get involved, how to let your people in Congress know we will not put up with this, and how to alert the European Union that you will not put up with this.
Yep.
You need to get involved. If you don't get involved, this show, this network, everything we do could end up going belly up.
And so much of YouTube will be gone.
YouTube will be gone. Anything that shares video, music, meme, photos, anything will be gone. It will be destroyed if you do not get involved to stop it. Don't wreck the .net. Don't forget. It could happen as early as next month. Please get involved. Subject Cinema.
We'll be right back.
Film, VHS, DVD, streaming, and beyond. This is Subject Cinema.
Keep up with our wild and wacky thoughts every day. Follow us on Twitter at eCinemaOne and at eCinemaBoston for TC, at Platinum Rose Al for Kim. You won't believe the things we tweet about unless you check us out today. Keep connected to Subject Cinema and all the great PNR Network shows and sites. Hook up with us on Facebook. Facebook.com/Popcorn and Roses. That's popcorn, the letter N, roses.
There is no time. Are you satisfied with your care?
Please. No. I can't lose you two.
Hero, I will always be with you.
Subject Cinema!
It is our 2019 preview show this week on SC19. I'm TC Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
622, episode number 622. We're just going to go through some of the other films. We've talked about all the big stuff, but there's a lot of other little films coming out here and there. And some of the stuff that we come to our attention, or stuff that we think is just ridiculous, or whatever. The ridiculous end is the new Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels has a new version coming out with K-Stu, Naomi Scott, Digimon Hansu, and Patrick Stewart as Bosley.
Okay.
This should be interesting. Plus Ella Balenska. It's described as a woke version, directed by Elizabeth Banks, and I'm like, oh, okay. Really?
One movie that I'm kind of like, I don't know why we feel like we need this, but we've seen the trailer a few times. March 29th, as of right now, Captive State.
Captive State's getting a lot of attention, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Captive State is a science fiction film looking at what happens when an extraterrestrial force has invaded Earth and is basically taken over the planet. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm sorry, didn't we just do this on USA and called it Colony? I'm like, isn't this the same thing? I mean, maybe I'm not thinking large enough, but it just seems like it's the same thing to me. But
one of the films coming out this month that I'm looking forward to is the new film, and let me get the right title here. Oh, I got the wrong page. I still have December up. Is the first film from director Joe Cornish since Attack the Block in 2011. It's called The Kid Who Would Be King. It's a modern-day version of the Excalibur tale.
Mm-hmm.
People who have seen the trailer say it is absolutely hysterical. It is supposed to be a really funny, contemporary British teen comedy. And judging from how much we loved Attack the Block, I just know that Cornish is probably going to do well with this as well. It's on my high radar for this month.
I really want to see, and I have a feeling I'm going to go to it by myself. I really want to see Replicas, which is coming out later on this month. It's a techno horror film about a scientist who loses his family in a car crash and decides that he's not going to take that and wants to bring them back. Now, obviously, this is flying in the face of a lot of things, and is basically, this could be this generation's version of Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. And I think it looks interesting because it's looking at that whole idea of just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. Yep. And it's also the idea of how, if you have the ability to not say goodbye to somebody, can you really, should you really use that?
Right. We already mentioned The Addams Family coming out at Halloween time. Mm-hmm. New animated version stars Oscar Isaac as the voice of Gomez. Mm-hmm. Charlize Theron as the voice of
Morticia?
No, Eva Green is doing. Oh. Ideally, Eva Green. Maybe not. I'm not sure. No, I'm sorry. Theron is actually doing the voice. Chloe Grace Moretz as Wednesday. Finn Wolfhard as Pugsley, and Nick Kroll as, I would assume, Uncle Festus? Was that his name? Fester. Should be interesting.
Oh, sorry.
Allison Janney, Bette Midler, and Elsie Fisher also part of the cast. Should be interesting.
We've seen the trailer for this, and it was a case of this is either going to be amazing or it's going to absolutely suck. The film coming out on May 10th, 2019, Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Oh, yes.
I should do my Don LaFontaine voice. In a world where humans live alongside pocket monsters, aka Pokemon, a young man searching for a place in the world finds a Pikachu that he can understand and can understand him.
Yeah.
And the Pikachu
Why don't we just calling this just plain Detective Pikachu Deadpool?
Yep. Pikapool.
Ryan Reynolds is doing. I don't know what happened to Danny DeVito, who was supposed to do the voice originally.
See, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I don't think that this Pikachu sounds like Deadpool.
Oh, it's Ryan Reynolds. You can tell it's Ryan Reynolds.
I know it's Ryan Reynolds, but I don't think it sounds like Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson. Yeah. Is my point.
I'm looking forward to it because Justice Smith is the human lead, and
Justice Smith,
hilarious.
Catherine Newton, one of our people from our Rising Stars list, Ken Watanabe, again, who we love, and I'm sorry,
it's Pokemon,
and it's a Pikachu that you could pick up and hug, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want one.
There's a Jigglypuff in it too. Watch out.
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not the new reboot of MIB is going to work. They tried just a few years ago with Josh Brolin instead of Tommy Lee Jones. And this one is none of the original cast back.
No.
Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, Liam Neeson, Emma Thompson. Next.
2019 also brings to the big screen on May 23rd The Kid, which is a story of a young man who reaches out to the infamous outlaw Billy the Kid, played by Dane DeHaan, to try and help the young man's sister who's been kidnapped.
Once again, playing a bad guy. Or supposedly bad guy.
Well, some people looked at Billy the Kid as a bad guy.
You know, Dane never played a good guy in the movie. He was a tank.
Yeah, well...
I love Valerian. I thought it was great. It would have been nice to see him play a hero for a change instead of rescue a puppy or something. He's always playing these psychotic characters.
Fine. I'm just saying, some people looked at Billy the Kid as an outlaw, and some people looked at him as a hero. The other members of the cast include Vincent D'Onofrio, and yes, that's the sole reason I'm going. Besides, well, not the sole reason. I do love Dane DeHaan, but I adore Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent's awesome and everything.
I don't know if you're going to want to go because Chris Pratt is in the cast.
I can deal with Chris Pratt if he's not playing Star-Lord. How many times have we been through this?
Yeah.
I love him in Jurassic World.
And Ethan Hawke is Pat Garrett, which I think is extremely interesting casting.
One movie that's getting a lot of buzz because we're not sure if it's actually going to make it this year is Chaos Walking. Apparently, this is based on a very popular young adult dystopian young adult novel.
Oh, here we go again.
Haven't we passed through this already? Mm-hmm. But it is said that I have actually read somewhere that they said that the book was unfilmable. Mm-hmm. Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley are the stars. They're waiting for reshoots while they finish up Spider-Man and Star Wars before they can do any more. It's originally supposed to be out March 1st. I'm betting probably closer to the end of the year because the reshoots haven't even started yet.
Well, some people...
But I've heard it's going to be... It has the potential to be another blockbuster, or it could turn into Cloud Atlas, or one of the Wachowskis that didn't do well.
Or Wrinkle in Time, which also people have said can never be filmed, and apparently they were right. We've seen the trailer for Rocket Man.
Oh, God, I can't wait for Rocket Man.
Yeah, the both of us were like, wow.
Taron Egerton is going to kick butt as Elton John. That's going to be awesome.
Rocket Man, which is coming out in May this year, is the story of Elton John from his early years, from his time at the Royal Academy of Music, and the beginning and the continuing relationship with his songwriter, Bernie Taupin, who is going to be played by Jamie Bell. Now, I'm kind of concerned that this film is going to have the same problem that Bohemian Rhapsody had, with certain people...
The woke people out there deciding there's not enough backstory.
Basically, you all know what we're talking about, so we're not going to bother.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, when I saw the trailer, I was like, damn, this is going to be amazing. And of course, we both love Taron anyway, and goodness knows he needs something after Robin Hood completely crashed, burned, and fell through the floor. It'd be interesting. We get another visit from our furry friends in The Secret Life of Pets 2, coming out in June, on June 7th.
Patton Oswalt stepping in for Louis C.K. in the main voiceover role.
Yep. Mostly everybody else is back, though. Eric Stonestreet is back as Duke. Kevin Hart is back as Snowball, which excites me because he was amazing in the first movie. Lake Bell is back as Chloe. And I can't wait to see this because I loved the first movie. I thought it was a scream. So that'll be really super exciting. And there's somebody else doing a voice for the film. I won't tell you who it is, but he should be pretty familiar to all you sci-fi fans out there. I won't say who it is. You have to go look it up. They're rebooting the Child's Play franchise again.
Have they rebooted it yet? I didn't think they had. Okay.
They are. It's coming out.
I know they are. I don't know whether they
It's coming out on June 21st as of right now. It's basically going to be the whole story again of the killer doll, Chucky, or I don't know if they're going to call him Chucky in this or not.
Yeah. And
I'm also not sure who's voicing Chucky. I'm assuming they didn't have Brad Dourif come back. I'm not sure.
No, I'm not either. I haven't seen for sure. I'm just trying to go through everything here and trying to pull out the stuff that I wanted to make sure we got out there. We, of course, Toy Story 4 will be the big summer Pixar box office hit. Everybody knows that they dominate the summer animation season.
Yeah.
Although they may get a surprise when Oscar comes this year because Spider-Man did so well with the animated stuff. That's
the weirdest casting ever.
I'm
sorry. I'm looking at Ford versus Ferrari, which is an upcoming film on June 28th. It's about the rivalry between the car makers Ford and Ferrari for the trying to come up with a car to beat Ferrari, the Ferrari car juggernauts, at the 1966 Le Mans race, which is a grueling race in France. It's a 24-hour long race. The cast includes Christian Bale, Matt Damon, Josh Lucas, Catriona Balfe, I hope I said that even close to correct, with John Barenthal as Lee Iacocca.
Oh, that's interesting casting.
What?
Well, he was younger. That would have been 30 years before everybody really knew him. So
yeah, I guess. I mean, and I'm not knocking John. John is an amazing actor. I first fell under his sway when he appeared in The Walking Dead, and has appeared in lots of other things since, and he's amazing. I just don't physically see any resemblance between him and Lee Iacocca, but then again, there's no resemblance between Christian Bale and Dick Cheney
in the movie.
Until you see the movie Vice and you go, what the hell?
Waves is coming out probably this summer. Waves is the new film from Trey Edward Schultz, who made a big splash with Krisha a couple of years ago. This one stars Lucas Hedges, Calvin Harrison Jr., Taylor Russell, Alex Demi, and Sterling K. Brown. Isn't that Sterling? Isn't that the Sterling from
This Is Us?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wrong Sterling. Who's the one on Rob Dyrdek's show? Sterling. It's Sterling Brown too, isn't it?
I don't know.
Anyway, it's about a couple of young couples falling in love, and it's said to be almost entirely synchronized to the music soundtrack. So a lot of people are thinking it's Baby Driver without the car chases. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is perhaps the most anticipated film of the fall for me, with Tom Hanks as beloved TV host Fred Rogers in a it's not really a biopic. It's more about Rogers' relationship with a writer, a cynical Esquire columnist, who was asked to profile him and found his life transformed from just a week or two with Fred. I mean, Fred is back in vogue, thank God. You know, after 30 years of being away, people remember why Fred was who he was, thanks to Won't You Be My Neighbor, which came out this year.
And the simple fact that we need Fred's words of kindness and love,
he was a brilliant, gentle person and really knew how to do it.
And was real about it.
It stars Tom Hanks, Matthew Rice, Chris Cooper, Susan Kalachi Watson, and Enrico Colantoni, and will hit theaters in October.
We're going back to a very scary place in this coming year. It Chapter 2 is coming out on September 6th, looking at the kids who had defeated the evil Pennywise. They're now all grown up, but some things don't stay buried. And Bill Skarsgård will be back denying people sleep as the villainous clown Pennywise, and probably causing a whole bunch more trauma. Downton Abbey is coming to the big screen also.
Oh, is that out this year?
Yes, it is.
I didn't know that was
As
out
of
this
right
year.
now, it is coming out on September 13th. Okay. So all your moms and aunts and such will be running to the theater to watch all of the adventures of the folks of Downton Abbey, and it has most of the people from the show, including other people as well, but I know that most of the people that were involved with the show, you know, whose characters aren't, dead, are part of the cast.
Another film that I just thought I'd warn everybody or alert everybody, depending on how you feel about this woman. Miranda July's first film in 8 years as a director hits theaters this year. Her last film, The Future, has been completely talked about a lot here. Her new film,
once again,
her new film is about a family of con artists who invites an outsider to participate in their biggest heist yet. It probably will premiere, I would say, at the earliest at one of the summer film festivals and probably get a fall release. But if you like her, you probably like the movie. We just don't happen to like her that well. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up.
We get yet another video game coming to the big screen because that always works out well. In November 8th, when Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Comes. What were you woohooing about?
I was just woohooing. I didn't know what it was.
Oh.
I was just providing the soundtrack for your talk.
Oh. Okay. The film stars James Marsden, Ben Schwartz as the voice of Sonic, and Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik.
For the record, a lot of people online think this movie is going to tank big time.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Richard Linklater's new film is hitting in March, has gotten a lot of word of mouth from its trailer. A young mother who disappears on the eve of a family vacation. Her 15-year-old daughter attempts to try to travel to Antarctica to find her. With Cate Blanchett, Billy Crudup, Kristen Wiig, Judy Greer, and Lawrence Fishburne.
Mm-hmm.
And directed by Richard Linklater, like I said.
A type of movie that I really enjoy. I'm assuming both of these are going to be anthologies, which I have to admit, I love anthologies. I love horror movies. So horror anthologies usually are my cup of tea. But Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and Are You Afraid of the Dark are both coming out in 2019. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was a I think it was Scholastic.
Are You Afraid of the Dark is based on the Nickelodeon television series, as far as I know.
Which I'm assuming would make it an anthology.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would think so. Yeah.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark were books of short scary stories. So I'm kind of like, woohoo, about those, although I probably won't sleep for the next couple of nights. But, every once in a while you have to take that kind of a chance.
Yeah.
The Fast and Furious franchise is still going strong, I guess.
Yep.
With Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. They're cops. No, actually, I don't think they are cops. But one of them is, oh man. This film coming out in August of 2019, starring Dwayne Johnson as Luke Hobbs and Jason Statham as Deckard Shaw, both established characters in the Fast and Furious movies. So this is probably going to have a bunch of car crashes in it and stuff exploding, and hopefully Dwayne Johnson without a shirt, because that will make me very, very happy.
Pick one or two more because we're running long.
Yeah, there's so many movies.
Yeah. Us, the new film from Jordan Peele, getting great word of mouth online. Another horror film along the lines of Get Out with Lupita Nyong'o, due out in March. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino's take on the Manson murders, out in July. Actually, it just plays as the backdrop to what's going on in the film, which includes a huge cast, including Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Damian Lewis, Luke Perry, Emile Hirsch, Dakota Fanning, Lena Dunham. Oh, God, why do you want to ruin a movie with Lena Dunham? Scoot McNairy, Al Pacino, Rumor Willis, and so many more people. Seriously, one of these things is not like the others. Where's Lena Dunham fit into this? And I'm going to mention this even though I can't personally vouch for it because it's a Netflix film, but The Irishman, the new film from Scorsese, is going to Netflix. So much for film supporter there, Marty, huh? Going to Netflix. Okay. There's so much more out there that we have not had time to talk about. Did you pick a couple of them? Knives Out, the new Rian Johnson mystery, which is due out in later in the year.
Yes. Also on Frozen 2 comes out November 20. Shut up!
More Olaf!
Don't you diss on Olaf. I will get out of this chair. Frozen 2 is coming out in November, bringing back pretty much everybody, I think, from the previous film.
Except Hans.
Probably, except Hans, as far as I know. But F that guy. And we've already mentioned Cats, and I'm really interested in a film coming out called Super Intelligence. It's the story of this. It's the story of a woman who is getting some back talk from her machines and such, her phone, the microwave. She thinks she's somebody's playing a joke on her, or she thinks that she's going crazy. The thing is, what this is basically the fact that this is the whole thing that we keep joking about that we're worried about, but it's not a joke. This is basically the idea that those, your Alexa, your Google, all that stuff like that, has decided they can run things better than the rest of us. Mm-hmm. And this intelligence has decided to pick this woman to observe, to decide whether or not people should, still be allowed to, exist. So.
Also, real quickly, High Life with Claire Denis as the director. Rave reviews when it was out. It is one of those playlists actually says, do not miss this one at all costs. When you see it, it's a science fiction thriller with Robert Pattinson, Juliette Binoche, and Mia Goth. And Donnybrook, another film that is said to be so visceral you will have trouble watching it, with Jamie Bell as a ex-Marine who enters a brutal fight circuit in order to take care of those he loves. It's supposed to be great, and it is on demand in February. Mm-hmm. There's so much more out there. We'll have more for you. I'm still anticipating the directorial debut of Michael Angarano, Avenues, which will finally be out, according to him, in February when he was on the Leonard Maltin show. But it's I don't see it on the schedule yet, so hopefully it'll be there soon. Even if it's Netflix, I'll take it. And I'm sure that there's other stuff that you're dying to see, too.
Oh, there's other movies I'm really looking forward to, and other movies I am absolutely dreading. Looking at you, Terminator 6. But,
oh, I know. Good God. And some of the other stuff coming out this year.
It definitely won't be a boring year, that's for sure.
Yeah. And we hope that you'll be here with us every week to find out what's going on right here in the film world and the podcast world. And don't forget, all of our other shows and all of you need to get involved with our Patreon campaign, patreon.com/PNRNetworks, to help support us and let us be able to do more for you all the time.
Yep.
It's been a great deal of fun. We hope you'll enjoy this and check out all the sources we'll have online for this, all the new films coming out. I have a couple of playlist lists I can put up for you that you can check out. A few other things. And don't forget to check the blog more often than not. eCinemaOne, eCinemaBoston. We have all of our news and stuff go up there first. New posts usually every day, and we hope that you'll check it out at eCinemaOne.com and eCinemaBoston.com.
Yep.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
Let's mosey on out of here. For Subject Cinema, I'm T.C. Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
May your popcorn always be buttered.
And may your roses always be in bloom.
We'll see you next week on SC19.
Welcome to 2019. Woohoo!
Woo!
You have been listening to Subject Cinema with hosts T.C. Kirkham and Kim Brown. Subject Cinema is produced by PNRNetworks, Boston, Massachusetts, which is solely responsible for its content. Subject Cinema theme performed by Eric Lyon. Subject Cinema is recorded and produced using Sony Vegas products. Subject Cinema is copyright 2018 by PNRNetworks under a Creative Commons license. Check out a new episode of Subject Cinema every weekend. Until next time, this is Bob Taylor for Subject Cinema. And we'll see you at the movies.
That's all.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.